Hope you're having a good time at this NAF.
Indeed.
2020. What year are we on? 2023. Of course we are.
How's it going, Airsofters? So it's been 2 weeks today since I went to the National Airsoft Festival. And it was my fifth one this time. Wow, fifth one. Not in consecutive years, though. I've missed a few years. There was COVID and stuff, you know. And yes, it was another good one. It was good to see friends from all around the world, from Belgium, from Ireland, from Northern Ireland, Kent. I got there a bit earlier this time on the Friday. I say early, I thought it was early, but the campsite was still packed. I got there at 1 o'clock. I had friends that got there at 10 o'clock and they said there was loads of people there at 10 o'clock. I was pretty much the last one of my group to get there, and when I was set up, we then went down to the check-in process, and the queue was massive for the check-in. There were 3 queues. Now don't do what everyone else who's done, including us, who was at the back of the queue. You just join a massive queue, and then you realise there's 3 queues. 3 queues for the 3 teams. So make sure you get in your queue for your right team. Anyway, we were in the queue for maybe half an hour, queuing up to get checked in, where you get your armbands, you get your cards to go in your armbands, and you get a patch. It didn't seem like we got as much this year as we have previous years. I think we used to get like a goodie bag with stuff in. Am I confusing that? I think we did. I'm sure we did. After check-in, we then went to the chrono and we queued again. This time the queue was enormous. We joined the back of the queue and we were an hour in the queue before we got to the actual chrono. It was okay though, because it was good to chat to people in the queue, and you know, when you're having a chat with everyone and having a laugh and that, the time soon goes. Chrono processes, they chrono on 0.2s. There's not many places left that do chrono on 0.2s, is there? Everyone seems to do it on duels in the UK, which is the best way, in my opinion. In 2023, there's loads of rifles out there that will dual creep, HPA especially. SRS, take the SRS for example, 500 FPS with a 0.2 gram BB. You go and shove a 0.48 gram BB in there, and you can be firing at 3 joules probably, perhaps more than that maybe. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. So check-in's all done, chrono's all done. We go back to the camping area, and we were on the far right hand side this time, near to the river, and it was the normal area. We normally go in the quiet area because we all like a good night's sleep. We're all getting on a bit now, and then went back down to the main area to grab some food and a few beers as well. You can expect to see loads of different types of food wagons. I mean, they're a little bit more expensive. I had a burrito and it was nothing special. It was quite a large one, but it was 10 quid for a burrito. A couple of mates of mine had hot dogs. For a bloody hot dog, they were charging 8 quid. But it is what it is. You expect to pay these prices if you go to like a festival type event. Beer prices in the beer tent were like £5 a pint, so not bad at all really. You know, that's okay. That's reasonable for a pint of beer these days. Friday night has a pistols game. I'm not sure if it's pistols and shotguns or just pistols only. No HPA adapters, no full auto pistols, no non-blowback pistols. There was quite a list of rules that you had to abide by for what pistols you could use and what you couldn't use. It didn't go on for too long. I think it was just on for a couple of hours. There was no nighttime play, no dark play. Everyone was back in by the time it got dark. On the Friday night, if you want to stay down the main area, the bar is open, there's bands playing, people congregate down there. There's quite a good atmosphere down there. Saturday morning comes, you go down for the briefing. Now, it's not a safety briefing, it's a very, very short briefing. I think he just called us a bunch of dickheads, told us it wasn't a safety briefing because we should have all read the safety notes that we got when we signed up for the event. It's 3 teams all weekend, so you've got Others, Bravo, and the team that everyone hates, Delta.
Keep up the terrible work, Bravo, doing great.
We'll try to, thank you. At the National Airsoft Festival then, what can you expect to find in-game over the 2 days? The start points for each team will be different on the Saturday and Sunday, so it gives you the opportunity to see the rest of the massive site. The massive field is huge. The games will start both days with vast amounts of pyro going off, and then it's a bit of a slow process to try and work your way out of the start area. When you eventually find yourself a little bit of space, there are places you can go where you won't see anybody, where it's very quiet. But on the other hand, there are places that you can go where there will be hundreds of people slinging BBs at each other. So it all depends what sort of style you want to go for. So like you ghillie guys, you sniper guys, you want to go around and flank around the edges, you can do that fairly quietly. But if you assault guys who want to get stuck in with the rest of your team, you can go in the middle of the field and have battles all day long with people. The games don't stop for lunch at all. They are one continuous game from start to finish. I think Saturday's game this year went on a bit longer because there was no night game on Saturday, so it ran until 6 p.m. So there's no limit to how many times you come in and out. You can go and get a drink, go get some food, go back to your camping area, go and have a sleep if you want to. They don't recommend, I think they advise not to drink beer at the beer tent and then go back into the game. They don't police it, but common sense, isn't it? And at the end of each game as well, I believe, I know there is Sunday because I experienced it for myself, I think it happens Saturday as well. The last hour of the game, all attention is focused on the village area and is just a massive firefight in the village area. I've never heard noise like it and seen so many BBs flying through the air. It was absolute carnage and well worth one of the days go and experience that, because it's just nothing you will experience in Airsoft. Get yourself a map. We used an app called Ares Alpha app, which is just fantastic for finding out where your teammates are.
And Ed is right there, so he's not very far away from where we left him.
The National Airsoft Festival map that we had on Ares Alpha even showed all the dead boxes. It shows all the team bases. It was just brilliant to use. It's the second year we've used it now. But if you haven't, you can get yourself a paper map and it shows all the dead boxes, all the key locations as well. Now the dead boxes can be used by anybody. You spend 5 minutes in the dead box and then you can come out again. Then you have to go rejoin your team. You can't just walk out of the dead box and start shooting anybody up. It's just not cricket and it will be frowned upon and you will probably get shouted at and called a knobhead. Ground Zero is the field where the National Airsoft Festival is held, and it is not a flat site by any means. It's very hilly in places. Take food, take water to fuel yourself. Good pair of boots as well, because you're going to do a lot of walking. Not just from the game area to the safe zone, from the safe zone to the campsite as well. Lots of walking over the weekend, mainly up hills. You're going to be sick of walking by the end of the weekend. You will encounter some grumpy players. It's inevitable. People have been on the beer the night before and perhaps had a late night with very little sleep. They've perhaps not drunk enough water, not had enough food. And as the weekend goes on, people were getting a bit grumpy and, testy with each other for the slightest of reasons. You will encounter grumpy players. The best thing to do is just keep your gob shut. I know it's hard sometimes. I have trouble keeping my mouth shut sometimes. But the best thing to do to save getting any confrontation is just to not react to them.
Hey, if you shoot me again, I'm going to lose my ship.
Something that people always talk about with the National Airsoft Festival is cheating. I can't say that it's right. There is probably a little bit more cheating at this event than there is like a normal skirmish type day.
Oh, you little motherfucker.
It's really not as bad as people say it is. If you want for playing objectives, there are objectives to do all day long. Go back to your base regularly and your first in command will give you lots of jobs to do. Take all the ammo that you're going to need for a day's gaming with you out into the game as well. Last year, one of the guys who was camping with us left the TM MWS at our base. Yeah, I know, stupid, right? And it went walkies. It just disappeared. Someone had that away. And unfortunately, this year I heard it more than ever of things getting stolen. There was warnings in the campsite of people going around testing car doors. There was even things stolen this year from retailer stands in the safe zone. Lock your vehicles, lock anything of value up. Bring cash with you because there is loads of second-hand bargains to be had. There's just so many stalls of people selling their old stuff. You can even get your gun resprayed. Hero Shark was there spraying people's guns, making custom lenses for people. There was loads of stalls there as well from Kydex Customs, AirTac, Viper, all showing off their stuff. Wolverine even made an appearance this year as well. Rich Law and his guys from America came over. Rich just looked like he'd had enough of questions.
What's the best magazine for an MTW?
What bucking should I use in my MTW? What weight BB should I use in my MTW? I bet he had that all weekend. Now, after last year's debacle with the toilets, I didn't really hear any complaints this year about the toilets, and I only used them a couple of times. I had my own toilet in the van this year, which was just a godsend. It's also probably for the best to bring your own toilet paper as well, because I think a couple of the lads went in and there was no toilet paper. Get yourself chronoed on the Friday. The queue will be big on the Friday, but the queue will also be big on the Saturday. And if you leave it till the Saturday and have to wait in the queue, you might miss some game time. So it's probably best to get it done on the Friday out of the way. Now this is a camping related tip. I know it's summertime, it's the end of summer, it's August bank holiday, it's the summer bank holiday, but in the evening, in the middle of the night, at 1 AM, it can get bloody cold. And if your sleeping bag is crap, you're going to to be extremely cold. Believe me, I've been there and done that. Either have a decent sleeping bag, or if your sleeping bag is a little bit crap, make sure you've got some warm clothes to wear inside your sleeping bag, some fleeces, etc., because it will get cold. Even if it's like 30 degrees during the day, it will get cold at night time. If you're a light sleeper, take some earplugs with you, because even in the quieter camping areas, the noise does go on until quite late. Now, I say on my videos every year, don't go to the National Airsoft Festival thinking it's going to be the most outstanding airsoft you're ever going to play against the best players ever, because you're going to be disappointed. I mean, the airsoft's not that bad. It's okay. You're probably not going to have as much fun playing the airsoft as what you do at your regular skirmish. You're definitely not going to hit as many people. Even though there's thousands of players there, some of the main areas get heavily bogged down. The airsoft can be tough work.
Oh, me, look at this.
Go with it in mind that you're going to a massive airsoft festival with 3,300 players, 1,100... My maths is good, isn't it? 1,100 on either side, and it's going to be nothing like you've ever played before. You're going to meet people and chat to people that you've never met before. If you go with your friends, you know, you're going to have fun times with your friends, you're going to have some beers with your mates, you're going to sit around a campfire, you're going to listen to a band in a beer tent. The National Airsoft Festival is where 3,300 like-minded people all get together. Say like-minded, they all have one thing in common. They all like replica firearms that fire little 6mm plastic BBs. So just go to the National Airsoft Festival with an open mind and no expectations, and I'm sure you'll have a great time. See you in the next episode.
Oh, bloody awful, mate.